Life can be hard sometimes. The world has a lot of beauty in it, but it can also throw a lot at us. We do things we don't want to do, like work, in order to live a life full of chores to further sustain your life and repeat this process day after day after day. But is it the world that makes our lives depressing, or is it something else? Picture this. A man is strapped to a chair and a doctor wearing a baby mask is about to torture him. Despite the pain, the man is smiling. Why is this? Well, the man is mentally living in a fantasy world where he's running away with the love of his life. Although the physical world is harsh to him, his mind is leading him to peace. Now, this is not to say you should undergo strong psychological delusions, but it's to illustrate the argument that the mind is actually at the center of our lives. It's not the outside world that makes life hard, it's how we perceive and think about that outside world. If you accept this perspective, then to change one's mind is to change one's life. And to control one's mind, well, that would mean that you'd control your life. Buddhism is a pretty complex religion if you really investigate things. And while the intricacies of the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path deserve their own video, why should you care? Like really, whenever you're about to learn something new, ask yourself how it could practically change your life. I know your algebra teachers hated if you asked that question in high school, but time is short. Use your scarce time to learn about things that actually mean something to you. In this video, for instance, I'll present just one idea from Buddhism that could really make a large impact on your life. First of all, let's talk about the book we're using. So you know I'm not just quoting BuddhismForDummies.com or whatever. In Buddhism, it's hard to find that one book or tome that's akin to the Bible or the Quran. Buddhist texts are scattered and divided up by canons, which might get confusing. The Dhammapada, however, is said to be a collection of actual sayings by the Buddha himself, probably compiled by his disciples. Also, just for reference, I'm using the Eknath Easwaran translation. Now, the book opens with a very crucial point that goes back to the intro of this video. Our life is shaped by our mind. We become what we think. Suffering follows an evil thought as the wheels of a cart follow the oxen that draw it. So our mind really is at the center of our suffering. The Four Noble Truths are, well, four truths that are noble, which are central to Buddhism. They state that 1. Life is suffering, and 2. That suffering is caused by selfish desire. Now we'll get to 3 and 4 in a separate video, and selfish desire has also been translated in a couple other ways. But the point, ladies and gentlemen, is that suffering is caused by a mental state. Our mind is at the center of our suffering. So if our life is dictated by our mind, if we could change our mind, we change our lives. Sound good so far? Now you might object, you should object, that it's impossible to control our mind. I mean, if I tell you not to think of a pink elephant, what are you doing right now? You could try all you want not to think of that pink elephant, but I can guarantee that you're thinking of that pink elephant. I was in a psychology class in high school and the teacher wrote the number 117 on the chalkboard and told us to forget that number by the next day. No one did, and all these years later, I still can't help remembering that number. But that's also probably because it's affiliated with Halo. Although it's a monumental task, Buddhism does give us a way to help train our mind, a way to take control again in order to help us through life. That method is meditation. As a fish hooked and left on the sand thrashes about in agony, the mind, being trained in meditation, trembles all over, desperate to escape the hand of Mara. Don't worry about Mara for now. The point here is that meditation might be the key to training our mind. Many people already associate Buddhism with meditation, and they see people sitting down for long periods of time not doing anything, and just believe that they can't do something similar. Heck, I heard of a guy who would meditate in snow-cold weather. I couldn't do that. But meditation is not just sitting down, it's a method of training your mind and feeling relaxed in the process. Now, there are many different ways to meditate. There are a lot of guided meditations on YouTube that could help you if you're a beginner. But the meditation method that seems the most relevant to this video, and the training of your mind, is to focus on your breathing. You get into a comfortable place, close your eyes, and just breathe. Focus on the physical sensation of your breath going in and out. Train your mind to really hone in on just your breathing. When you start out, you'll obviously get hit with passing thoughts. You'll think about work, chores, food, sex, and embarrassing memory. You'll come across a lot of distractions. But you can acknowledge them, let them pass, then get back to focusing on your breathing. This method, I believe, is most akin to training your mind, and I could see it being practically useful to then changing your life. Because let's say you get good at meditation. During the actual meditation time, you're gonna feel relaxed and tranquil. But if you become good at focusing on one thing like your breath, perhaps this could lead you to more mental stability outside of meditation as well. Changing your mind means changing your life. By training your mind, you might better control your thoughts, thus changing those thoughts that make you perceive life in a certain way. It's obviously going to be a hard journey of making a habit out of meditation, but you got nothing to lose except for a couple minutes a day. And to me, that seems worth it if it means changing your life for the better. Hard it is to train the mind, which goes where it likes and does what it wants. But a trained mind brings health and happiness. The wise can direct their thoughts, subtle and elusive, wherever they choose. A trained mind brings health and happiness. So that's my case as to how Buddhism can change your life. And you could practically use this advice without having to adhere to the Buddhist religion either. Anyone of any religious belief can experience the benefits of meditation. Obviously, there's a lot more in the Dhammapada and a lot more about Buddhism. So if this video got you hooked, I encourage you to look into it more, or comment below if you'd like me to make a video exploring some core concepts of Buddhism. But maybe you hate the way I do things and want to look elsewhere. It's okay, I'm not crying. If you did enjoy the video though, be sure to subscribe. I'd like to hit 15 billion subscribers by the end of the year, so help me achieve that goal. Like the video, hit the bell, and I wish you all a beautiful rest of your day.